What I remember about how we first met was I'm sure we were on the first program together in Asia. I took the first program we ever did here in Asia, and you were one of the mentor coaches. I remember that. I'm not sure we had much direct contact at that point, but you've always been around the program and the team coaching program, of course, right from the start. So that I've got a kind of long memory of you without any specific kind of incidences in my mind.
Yeah, I think my first clear memory of any kind of interaction with you, Marcus, was when we started doing the team coaching.
Yeah.
Actually, in part of the coach partnership, coach training program. I've been a part of that for the last few years, and you were certainly part of that. You were, leading that. So I definitely had some at least not much interaction with you, but actually, saw you in
Yeah.
action, so to speak. The team coaching program. That's where you and I have done a lot of work together in
Yes.
planning
Yeah.
that and executing that. So that's where I started to really get a sense of you and how you lead the organization as well as how you present in front of students. So when it came to when the moment came when somebody from Asia, a couple different people from Asia emailed me and said, hey, we would love to be in your, take your Trust at Work certification program.
Yeah.
Looks great. Are you ever planning to do something in our time zone?
Yeah.
Which and my first response is no, I don't. That's not a good time zone for me. Um, and the next thought that came to mind was, oh, but I know an organization that could take this forward in Asia and had I mean, it was a no-brainer, as they say, that I would want to approach you and the coach partnership and
Thank you.
see if you were interested. So,
Well, it's great. I mean, I'm really thrilled that we are going to do this. I mean, you've built a long legacy of work in this area of trust, and it's something that I'm very excited to be bringing into Asia. We'll no doubt, make a little few tweaks and do it in our own inimitable way as we do. But
yes.
the core of the work is going to be based on what you've pulled together over the years. And I don't think it's any accident that we probably have had our most of our direct interaction on the team coaching program, because of course trust, I mean, it shows up for individuals, of course it does, but in teams it's such a foundational piece that shows up in teams. And so I don't think it's any accident that's where we've had probably most of our direct interaction, because you've been a core member of our faculty there for right from the start.
Yes, which has been great.
It has.
And even though the timing, the time zone is a little challenging for me at times, um, it's I've enjoyed being part of that program, and so I really feel like the Trust at Work certification program, Asia version, will be, will certainly meet, if not exceed, my standards for that program in terms of its delivery and how you work with the participants and all of that. So um, I'm really excited that you're doing it.
Great.
This is like, oh, great. This is a great body of knowledge that I want to pass on to people. And how do I do it in Asia? That's handled. I feel really good about that.
Great. Well, that's great to hear. I've got to say, looking forward to getting started.
Yeah, great.
So, Charles, I'm interested in your kind of how you've developed this over time, and how you maybe start with how you first looked at trust, not just trust in general, but this idea of trust and how it shows up in the business world and within organizations. How did that really begin for you, and where have you taken it to?
Well, that's a great question. It began actually when I worked in organizations. and was managing people, or even before I started leading and managing and leading people. Trust, I sort of began to notice that trust could be strong, and when it was, people seemed to work well together, and productivity was high. People felt good about themselves, and when trust was low, that was not quite so. And then as I moved out of the corporate world and started consulting, kind of let go of it for a little while until I discovered coaching and started working with individual clients. And again, trust started showing up for those clients.
Yep.
And back at that time, both when I was working in organizations and shortly after I left, I didn't have any way of actually helping people think about trust other than I was kind of feeling along in the dark myself with them. And that was really kind of frustrating. It was through the Newfield ontological approach to everything, including coaching, ontological approach to life and organizations and coaching, that I first became acquainted with this idea of trust and different domains of trust assessments, and how that might help people. And I began to use that. And as I did more so with my individual clients, and also at the same time beginning to work with teams and seeing how that applied there, it became more and more relevant for me. Then I added to that kind of framework that I already was using. I added some things. I kind of wove it into practices that I could share with people. And it was at that point that I started taking it to larger organizational settings, like doing a leadership development program, which would have a trust fairly robust trust module in it,
right,
where I was using the 4 assessment domains of trust that are key to the framework that I use, and that people in this program will learn in great detail.
well,
Because it really helps. It's amazing how valuable that is for helping people understand how to build trust and maintain it, and even repair it if it's damaged.
Yeah. I think what you said there is really powerful. And I say that from my own experience, not just as a coach and a trainer, but my own personal experience as well, which is trust is one of those things that it's not tangible. You can't put your hands on it. And so that structure that you've developed, and also the practices in terms of working with it, developing it, I personally have found very, very useful. So as I say, not just as a coach, but for me personally.